jack. That's a jack. Turn so green. Oh, yeah, that's one. Oh yeah, that's it. That's a jack. That's a jack. Could be gone tomorrow. Could be gone today. You lost your way.
Okay, just a quick rundown on the mangrove jack. The mangrove jack's scientific name is Lajanus argentumiculatus. They are found anywhere from the mid-north coast of New South Wales, north, and all the way around to the mid-coast of Western Australia. The mangrove jack size, they can range up to 1.2 metres and up to excess of 20 kilos, but more commonly found in the estuaries up to around the 70 centimetre mark. With the breeding of jack, there's not a lot known, but it is thought that they go offshore, and anywhere from 4 to 8 years they lay their eggs and then they mature offshore. The lifespan can get anywhere up to 35 years. With the bag limits, it's a good thing to check each state's regulations. In Queensland, there's a size limit of 35 centimetres and a bag limit of 5. I tend not to keep jack when I go fishing for them. They're just too good to catch once, and I want to get my kids and future generations to come out and experience the fun and the power of these awesome creatures. Righto, me and Keith have come up nice and early up the river today. We're going to approach it with 2 different attacks. I'm using a little prawn star, which Keith has put me onto, and they're real dynamite, and using the plastic there, mate.
Yeah, just going to throw a snagless Edman around for a while and sort of alternate between the prawn star. We might even throw a few hard bodies.
Yeah, nice.
A bit later.
Cool, well, let's get into the action.
Sounds good.
Yep. There you go, Keith's on. Yep. Oh, nice shot. Beautiful. That's what it's after.
Jeez, he smacked the shit out of it.
Wow. There you go. Keith just threw straight into some structure there, and he pulled up a nice little jack. What are you using there, mate?
That's the red 4-inch Edman swimmer.
Unreal. They're deadly, aren't they?
Oh yeah. We've had a few bites this morning, but that's the first red one.
Yep. Awesome. We're feeling super confident. We've it's a run out tide, and we've been throwing these plastics around, and we eventually got smashed. Okay. Well, me and Keith have come up this morning, and no more than 10 minutes into the action, And Keith's pulled a nice little jack.
He's only a little fella, about 40.
And
He belted it. You can see the hook up on that Z-man. That's a snakehead jighead. It's got him right in the top of the jaw there. Wasn't coming off.
I'll tell you what, he put up a good account for himself. Not a large fish, but yeah, they all count.
He's a nice red little fella, that's for sure.
Nice, you just want to get him nice and close to the camera. I'll show him how he's hooked up there.
Right in the top of the jaw there.
Awesome.
Perfect hook up.
Well, I reckon we're going to get into a few more, so we'll release this one, give him a little bit of a swim, and see if we can get some more. Good work, mate. No, no.
He's a good mate of mine, eh?
Oh, another one.
Just touched a little tree.
Yeah.
Eh? He was out too. It was all over.
Yeah, yeah.
Another 40, I reckon.
Well, we're just throwing these prawn stars in nice and close, and Keith's just targeted just a little stick because these fish can hold on anything. Unfortunately, it missed the hooks, but it's the second hit for the morning, so we're feeling pretty lucky. Gee, he was right on that little stick, wasn't he?
The water's pretty dirty at the moment, so I've gone for a funky fluoro prawn star.
That is far out, eh?
There's a couple of new hooks we're just trying at the moment. They didn't work that time.
No. Oh, there we go. Oh,
Massive.
oh, there you go, 2 in a row.
Oh, these hooks aren't really doing the job. That was big.
That was cool.
Oh, we found a little honey hole here.
Just goes to show that the jack can just hold on anything. It doesn't have to be a massive, ugly-looking snag. It can be just a little twig out of the water.
Well, we just hit 10 big, ugly, massive-looking snags, didn't we? So
Yeah, that's it.
didn't get a touch. Then we come to these little twiggy ones and belted twice. I'll just give you a bit of a run through on how I retrieved these snagless Z-mans. The tide's only just sort of running out, near the bottom of the tide now. So I've just positioned the boat up current from the snags, and what I'm going to do is throw it just shy of the snags and let it sink down into it, give it a few jigs and just keep letting it flutter back down into the trees. Just watch your line, see when the lure hits the bottom. The line will go slack. Just a couple of little flicks, and let it sink back down. You can just feel that lure rubbing through a few trees now. Oh, he spat it. I was in trouble then, eh? He was over the top of a big tree. It was a big fish though. He's pants that Z man. Oh, I got some scales. They don't look very red. We'll have another go at him. Getting the lure right in tight to that snag, got that bite. When you're fishing for jacks, you want to get right in there deep. And if you get busted off, you get busted off, but you got to hook them. Get it in nice and tight to that snag, that's where the fish will be sitting. There's plenty of stuff down there. I've given that a fair few good casts in there with the Z-Man, so what I'll do now is throw a prawn star in there for a bit. Pretty much the same retrieve, just with a little bit more aggression. And the prawn stars are really snag resistant too, so I can work that right through all that timber that's out here. Thankfully I got a heavier leader on this one too. Running 20-pound braid and 40-pound leader. Just a couple of really sharp flicks to get it moving and just let it sink back to the bottom. I've picked a fluoro colour prawn star because the water's quite dirty, as you can probably see. Just hoping that'll stand out a little bit more. It's really rough country in there. I feel that bouncing over a lot of branches. So if you get a hit, pretty much just got to try and tear his head off and get him out. Don't let him get his head down. Just snagged up on one of the trees there. I'll just get in over the top of it and give it a few flicks and it should pop straight off. There we go. Worst thing you can do if you get a snag like that is put a lot of pressure and pull it straight at you. That'll sink the hooks right into the tree. If you just get in over the top of them or up current of the lure and give it a few flicks, 9 times out of 10 it'll just pop straight off. G'day everyone, my name's Keith and today I'm going to run through a few tips on how to find jacks in deep water. We'll just quickly run through the tackle we're going to be using and types of lures. Because most of the water we're going to be fishing today is going to be 15 feet plus, it's all going to be sinking lures. We'll run a couple of snagless plastics, it'll get down nice and deep. That's just a little 4-inch Z-Man with a snake head. That'll be able to work through all the snags that we find on the sounder. And my favourite, the prawn stars, we'll get them down there, give them a few nice flicks. We can fish them right up to 30 feet of water if we find it. We got the prawn star junior there, and possibly we might even do a little bit of trolling. The bombers, they go down to around 15 feet. Right, let's go and find that water, eh? I've just made it right up the top of this creek and I've come across this nice steep bank here. Most of the time when you see a steep rocky bank like that, it'll drop into sharp deep water, especially on a bend on the outside of the creek here. On the inside, generally very shallow, and the hole, as the current pushes around, will be gouged out, and a lot of trees end up falling and staying in those holes. So what we'll do, I've just dropped the electric motor in, we'll just putt along it, have a good look at our sounder, and see if we can find any drop-offs or big rock pinnacles, hopefully even a fallen tree down there. And what we'll do, as you see it, we can mark it on the bank by a rock or a tree, or anything really, and we know exactly where our strike zone's going to be. So we're just sounding along this bank and we've got a fairly barren stretch there. It's all just mud. And we're just coming up to a couple of little rocks now, a little bit of rough bottom. Just going to see what pops up here. 14 feet's a good depth. Anything over sort of 10 feet is well and truly good jack holding water, especially out wide. There we go, that's coming up nicely now. We'll just see if that drops away on the other side. There's a nice little rise there. It's all hard bottom, so we know it's all rock. We're just looking for a nice drop off the back of this. You get little plateaus that sit up. If you can get even a foot rise, there we go, it's just dropping off nicely there. And we've got a run out tide at the moment, so that's exactly where a jack's going to be sitting. He doesn't have to do anything at the moment. He just sits in there out of the current, waits for the bait fish to go past, which are showing up just above it now. So he's in his glory. So we found this nice steep rocky bank along here. It's really sharp, but I can also see a couple of rocks just poking out of the surface, a few metres out off the bank. And what we've got here is the perfect jack scenario. What we're sounding out there is exactly what we're seeing here basically. We've got a big rock here with a big gorge through the middle of it, and as the current's running, there's going to be no current running through there. The jacks love to sit in that, and they'll just sit there when they want to feed. They'll duck out, smash whatever they want to eat, cruise back in. They don't have to worry about any current. So this is the sort of thing we're looking for on the sounder. If you can find one pinnacle, doesn't matter how big it is, it could hold a jack. As long as it keeps jack out of the current so he doesn't have to work too hard, it's prime habitat. We've just marked a couple of really good shows along here. Got a couple of big pinnacles that come out, and they're not right in against the bank. They're a good 5 metres out off it, and they're sitting in about 15, 18 feet. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with a little plastic. That's a 3/8 snakehead on that one. That'll get us down nice and quick so we can cover a fair bit of water. There's 3 or 4 good pinnacles along there, so we'll cast in. I know they're all in about the same area, within about 10 metres of each other. So we'll lob it in past them. We've really got to concentrate and watch the line. When the lure hits the bottom, you'll see your line go nice and slack, and just give it a couple of little flicks and let it sink back down. As the bank drops into deeper water, you'll notice your lure will take a little bit longer to get down to the bottom. What we want to do is swim that lure right in front of the fish that are probably going to be sitting in behind those rocks. You've really got to concentrate because you only get a second to catch these things. Sometimes you don't even get that. Alright, that's worked out past it now. I'll put another cast in. Just make sure it gets down to the bottom. A couple of flicks, you can really mix your retrieve up. If the jacks are really fired up, they'll eat anything. But you've really got to make sure it gets down to the structure you're fishing, which is right on the bottom in this case. We'll give this a couple of passes with the plastic, then we'll move back and drop a prawn star down. We might even have a troll over the top of it, so we can get a couple of hard bodies down there that'll just bump on top of those rocks. It might wake the fish up. Got a fairly featureless bank along here, but what I've noticed is there's one section there that's got no trees at all. Looks like a landslide almost. What that means is there's obviously been a big tree there that's washed into the river, and it's caused a lot of erosion. There's a good chance this tree will still be down there. Even if there's not the whole tree, it could be enough. Just 1 or 2 little logs down there, it'll hold a jack. So I'll run the sounder over it, and if we find something, chuck a couple of lures in there and see if we can get him. Right, we're directly in front of the slide here, about 5 or 6 metres out off the bank. And that's exactly what we're looking for there. You see how it's just tucking in underneath? That's a log lying down. And hopefully that's going to poke out on the top. Yeah, that's perfect. That's a log laying on top of the mud there with a good 3-4 foot underneath it. Perfect spot for a jack to sit. There's plenty of other crusty stuff down there, little branches coming off the tree. Absolutely perfect. So what we'll do is we'll just duck back up current, throw a few plastics and prawn stars in there, see if we can't wake him up. So I found this really good snag lying along just in front of that landslide there, sitting in about 16, 17 feet of water. Got the trusty prawn star ready, and what I've done is I've made it a fair way out from the bank. I actually fish these fallen trees a little bit different to what I fish the rock bars. A rock bar is quite long generally, so you'll want to target a lot of area. But in a snag like this, you're only looking at something metre, 2 metres wide, so you really want to hit the zone. I know exactly where it is on the bank because I've marked it on the side. And what I'm going to do, we've got a run out tide here. I'm going to cast it a couple of metres this side of the snag and let the lure float down into it. As soon as it hits the bottom, a couple of flicks, let it sink back down, and the current will just keep working it down that tree. The tree's actually running parallel with the bank. So we'll get a cast in there. Give it plenty of time to sink. Make sure that drag's screwed up. Never have too many turns on your drag with the jack. There we go, just hit the bottom now. A couple of really good sharp flicks, that'll really wake the jacks up. We'll really pepper this snag because it's a perfect habitat. There's plenty of bait around. The water's a little bit dirty, so I've gone for a fluoro colour. Had a little bit of rain in the last few weeks, but there's plenty of salt water down deep. As I mentioned before, we've had a fair bit of rain recently. We've got a fair bit of fresh water on top. We haven't seen a lot of bait on the surface, but we've marked a lot on the sounder. So now's the perfect time to be targeting deep water jacks. There'll be plenty of salt water in the deeper holes like we're fishing now. And you're not likely to catch too many on the surface when there's no bait. So getting the lures down deep, jigging them amongst the trees. Perfect, especially after a bit of rain. Alright, well there's a few tips on how to target deep water jacks. Remember, keep your eyes on your sounder, and when you find that golden snag, throw as many lures as you can at it and get the big red out of there. Catch you on the water.
Beautiful
Well, awesome afternoons fishing with Keith. Really top bloke. Can't wait to get back out there with him. Heaps of knowledge. Sick trip. Good work, mate. Okay, so we're back up the creek today. Learned a few techniques off Keith the other day. Really good, so I'm going to come and try them myself, see how I go. Hit all the snags, hit them nice and deep, shallow, in between the snags. Everything I can do to try and turn a ginger, so see how we go. Just using a little Z-Man swimmer, and that's on a weedless hook. And as you've seen the other day, they're pretty deadly, so I'm going to give them a go. And let's see how much action we can get. Okay, what we've done, I've been here all morning and I've been busted off on plastic already. So what I've gone to is a little prawn star, which Keith Stratford put me onto. They look really good, and in the water they got a really wicked action. So what I'm going to do, I've got a tree like this and I've got a bit of a back eddy there. So I'm going to cast right up into it as close as I can get. Let this prawn star sink, and once I can see it hit the bottom, just give it a few twitches up. He's told me to work them pretty erratically, and that's when you get your strikes. So let's see how it goes. Sink to the bottom and then a few twitches. Okay, I'll just check the temperature. Water temperature today is 26.3, and the depth that we're in is 2 metres, so it's not taking a whole lot of time to get to the bottom. Whoa. I'm feeling pretty confident. Come on, come on. No, you're coming out, mate. The beer red, beer red. Yep. Oh, yes. Now that's what I've been waiting for all morning. You beauty. That's a cracking fish. Just threw this prawn star right up into this, in the depths there, and there's a bit of an eddy creating. And it just sunk down and he just nabbed it. I seen the line take off and off he went. And this is a beautiful fish. Woohoo! Pumped. I've been trying for so long this morning. Oh, awesome. Just give us a second, I'll get him out and we'll get a good look at him. Okay. Oh. Now there we go. A nice jack, caught on the prawn star. I tell you what, this is kind of the first time I've used these prawn stars and they're deadly. We've got a nice cod this morning and a nice cracking jack, so I'm really happy. I'll just get you a better look at him. There we go. You can actually see my hand shaking, it's pretty cool. That's what we're after. That's on the new Wilson Venom rod, and I've got a 40-pound trace on that. But we'll look after him, we'll get him back in the water after a quick measurement, and yeah, pretty stoked. Cool. Righto, got the hooks out of him now, so I'll get him back in the water. I'll make sure I'll swim him for a bit, then we'll let him go. And off he went, he didn't take long. Woohoo, that's awesome. Okay, so only one jack today. I've put 5 straight hours into hardcore fishing. Pumping heaps of casts out. So guess what I'm saying is, if you're coming out to chase jacks, sometimes yeah, you get onto them in that first 10 minutes, but be persistent. If you're not getting anything, just keep working them edges, keep plugging along, changing lures, hard bodies, soft plastics, stuff like prawn imitations, anything like that, and just really work it hard. Like I got the one fish today, and like I said, 5 hours, and I got one bust off. But that's jack fishing, keeps you coming back, so let's see what we can get next week, eh?
Like a little butterfly right outside my mind. Colorful feeling. And now it's like a little butterfly right outside my mind. Color for you, color for me, color for you. Color in all of my imagination. Color for me, color for you. Color in all of my imagination. for me, color for you, color in all of my imagination. Color for me, color for you, color in all of my imagination.
Oh, yep. Oh, gone. Well, there's. Oh, yep. Oh, oh, gone. Bastard, that was a jack for sure, man. Oh, man. I seen him, eh?
Did you?
Yeah, definitely jack.
Gone.
Yep, on the drop.
Oh, nice.
That was quick,
Just
eh?
wasted. What was that on?
That was on that plastic, mate.
The Z-Man.
Oh. And that's how you get busted off too. Oh. Oh. Sure. Oh, yep, yep. He's on, he's on. There we go, we got Jack on. Oh, he's got me around that post. Oh, he's gone. There he goes. That's how quick you get taken by a jack. Another one. Wow. He just bricked me straight away there. Whew, this is getting too much of a common thing. Damn it. Damn it. Whew. Damn it.